Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. Today, we will be talking about the three common marketing mistakes that startups often make. But before we dive into that, this show is brought to you by Business Marketing Engine. If you need unique marketing solutions to build your business, head over to businessmarketingengine.com. And now, let me pass it on to our host for today. Good morning, Gabe.
Good morning, Jethro. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to talk about these common mistakes that I see startups make because having worked with over 1,000 startups over the last 20 plus years, it's something that is a repeating pattern, and I've even made these mistakes too. So it's not uncommon, but it's something that I feel like if I can address with you today, then you'll be able to move forward in your marketing more successfully. So the first thing that I always see early on, if you're a brand new startup and you haven't really sold anything substantially yet, and in my mind, that's if you've sold less than $100,000, um, or even potentially a higher number. But if you sold less than $100,000 of products or services, then you don't need to worry too much about coming up with the perfect brand name or logo. I see way too often, I see people that have a good idea get stuck in trying to figure out the perfect brand name or the perfect logo. My business today, Business Marketing Engine, had actually two different names before this, and both of them sucked. So I'm not even going to bother repeating them. But I was still able to do hundreds of thousands of dollars under those brand names, and I was able to get the business established and up and running. And so my encouragement to you would be is don't obsess about your brand name. Get it close, make it something simple that people can understand what you do, and don't worry too much about your logos and colors because all of those things will be very solvable. You'll be able to resolve those as you grow the company. You actually get good at delivering the products and services that you have to offer. The other thing that I see people obsess about, this doesn't happen as much anymore in the digital era that we live in, but worrying about getting business cards or making brochures or printing something like that is often just a waste of time. In today's world, it's very easy to get somebody's phone number, their email, follow them on social media. In the digital space, there's absolutely no point in my experience of wasting a ton of time or money on business cards. If you want to get something simple, go on Vistaprint, get 500 cards, don't spend a lot of money, and put your name and phone number in there and email. Keep it super simple. Just don't get tied up in that process because it's not going to move the needle for you. And it's not really going to actually improve the marketing that you're doing. And I'll talk about what the best marketing is for startups in just a moment here. The third thing that I would really encourage you to pay attention to is from a marketing perspective, we don't want to worry about having everything perfect in our product or service yet. What's key is getting a version out there that people can give you feedback on, starting your product, launching your product to see what people think, starting your service and getting feedback from the prospects and clients that you interact with. Too often I see startups struggling with trying to build the perfect version 1.0, but they never get it out in the world to get feedback, and therefore they get stuck in this endless loop of trying to make something perfect, which is impossible, or virtually impossible at least, and then they never release it to the world. So my encouragement to you is get your idea to 70 or 80%, get a draft version of it, and share it with your audience. See if they want to buy the product, see if they like the service that you're offering, and be candid and upfront. I talk about this a lot when I launch a new product or service. Like I have a course right now on podcasting that's out, and it's still in beta. So as I've promoted it and talked to everybody about it, I say, hey, this is in beta, so there's probably going to be some rough spots, and I would like your feedback on what you'd like to improve or what could be better as part of this course. And so using that, launching early mindset of launching, something that's 70 or 80% complete in your mind, or honestly, probably even lower in some cases, that will allow you to get real world feedback, and it will allow you to be in a position where you're able to grow and scale your company. A quick story: I was at an event a couple weeks ago, and when everybody at the event, we were all entrepreneurs and founders, and so I learned a ton there. And one night I went out and met up with some other friends, and one of the guys I met up with, he introduced me to a new friend, or a friend of his, and this guy was very excited about this book that he was putting out. And it turns out that he had been working on this book for 20 years. Um, and he pulled up the cover and showed me the cover, and he was very excited about it. And I asked him, I said, have you, released this, or is there a publication date? And he didn't have a date. And I could see, and I've been there, and I know a lot of startups have been there. I could see that he was worried about making sure the book was perfect and the cover was perfect, and that everything was going to be just right. But in honoring that fear of wanting everything to be perfect, he has delayed for years releasing his product, his book, and that's what we want to get away from. We want to get away from thinking that we need something to be perfect, because if we do that, we'll never launch it and we'll never release it. So those are things to keep in mind, that I see are often just common pitfalls that happen for folks that are in the startup mode. And the thing that is most important in your marketing is get good at the product or service you deliver. That will be the foundational and really first piece of marketing that you need to have in place. Because if you provide a great service, your clients are going to tell their friends about it. If you deliver a great product, people are going to tell others about it. So that's where you can focus your improvement, by getting something out there early, getting feedback and improving it. That is a really important and foundational piece of marketing that will help you grow and scale. So those are the three common mistakes that I see. I hope you'll be able to avoid those. And thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you, Gabe. And that's it for today's episode on the Engine Builder Show. And now that you know the three common mistakes that startups make, we hope that you have learned on this episode how to avoid those mistakes. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our podcast. As usual, if you like our content, hit that like, follow, and subscribe. If you want to get notified when we go live, hit the bell as well. Again, for unique marketing business solutions, head over to businessmarketingengine.com, and we'll be glad to help you and serve you for your business. We'll talk to you next